Studying the skeletal remains of something is useful because it gives researchers information about that thing. The skeletal structure, presented as skeletal remains most often in the form of a fossil, defines or shows how something functioned. An example of this information or this change in structure is the shift of the foramen magnum to the bottom of the skull as primates became bipedal. The skeletal structure of something lays the foundation for how that thing functions, and by examining skeletal remains, anthropologists can reconstruct or recreate how an animal functioned and how its environment impacted it and its body. This is the reason that the study of skeletal anatomy is an indispensable part of anthropology, because it tells anthropologists things about species or groups from the past and how they might differ or how they progressed relative to modern versions.
Bones. What are they? Bone is a specialized connective tissue that is first developed out of woven bone, which is later then replaced in time by lamellar bone. Did you know that bones have 3 different types of cells? These include osteoclasts, osteoblasts, and osteocytes. During the cell remodel cycle, cells go through 3 phases, the first being resorption, the second being reversal, and the third being formation. Cartilage is also a connective tissue that helps connect fibrous, cartilaginous, and synovial joints. A structural function is a function that deals with the building of the skeleton. A sociological function is a function that deals with the normal bodily processes. Some examples of structural functions include support, protection, and assist in movement. Some examples of sociological functions include production of blood cells, storage of chemical energy, and storage of minerals. Behavior and what we can learn from bones.
A primate's locomotor pattern is how they move around. Parts of the skeletal anatomy that determines this are the foramen magnum, pelvis, hind limb, forelimb, finger bones, femur, feet, and vertebrae. There are 4 kinds of locomotor patterns found in primates: bipedalism, quadrupedalism, VCL, and brachiation. A primate is bipedal when it moves around on 2 legs, for example, humans. Brachiation is when a primate swings from tree limb to tree limb using their arms. An example of a primate that uses this locomotor pattern are the Siamings that are located in Southeast Asia. Quadrupedalism is when a primate uses 4 limbs to move around. Forms of quadrupedalism are knuckle walking, terrestrial, and arboreal. An example of a knuckle walking primate is an ape. An example of a quadrupedal terrestrial primate is baboons. An example of a quadrupedal arboreal primate are the squirrel monkeys. VCL, or vertical climbing and leaping, is when a primate moves from branch to branch by using grasping hands and prehensile feet. An example of a primate that uses this locomotor pattern is a tarsier. A primate's teeth can help determine their diet. Archaeologists use bones to determine a primate's activity pattern or daily life. Eye size can help determine whether a primate is diurnal or nocturnal. Primates with larger eyes tend to be nocturnal.
The bones of a primate can also determine if it has suffered from a disease and what the disease might have been.
Created using Powtoon.